Oh, come on. Come on. Alright, can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Okay, there we go. Yeah, usually the microphone works first time I plug it in, and I guess it decided not to immediately. Anyway. So, yeah, sorry about skipping the Wednesday stream. I'm trying to get a bunch of writing projects done before my vacation in June, so I don't have to worry about that. And I guess I accomplished some. I got 2 articles waiting to be published, but yeah, so stick around and see where that goes. Anyways, it is Slow Down Sunday. I completely forgot to put up a poll on what we would be doing today, so we're just going to keep doing some more shadow content since you guys really like it when I do that. So, without further ado, let's get right on into it. So I selected a few that looked kind of interesting. We got the Silent Avenger, and we've got Death by Chapter, which seemed very interesting to me as a writer, so I think we're going to start with this one. Alright, so got Lynette Cranston, The Shadow, Margot Lane, Chet Hall, magazine publisher, Alan Kane, neurotic confession writer, Miss Meggs, Kane's landlady, secretary, a very frightened young woman. Interesting character description for her. Oh no. Oh. Well, good thing I got that out of my system before we started. Alright. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. The Shadow, who aids the forces of law and order, is, in reality, Lynette Cranston, a wealthy, young man about town. Several years ago, while in the Orient, Cranston learned a strange and mysterious secret, a hypnotic power to cloud men's minds so they cannot see him. Cranston's friend, Margot Lane, is the only person who knows whom the voice of the invisible shadow belongs to. Alright. In today's drama, Death by Chapter, a would-be writer crosses the thin line beyond which fiction becomes fact and imagination a murderous reality. It will begin in just a moment, but first, pause for a commercial break by Blue Coal. I still can't believe that they did that. And now, The Shadow and Death by Chapter. In his swanky penthouse office, Chet Hall, editor and publisher of half a dozen crime and horror magazines, waits impatiently while Lynette Cranston and Margot Lane read the opening chapters of a handwritten manuscript, and as Cranston finishes the last page and hands it to Margot, Hall asks, what do you think about it, Cranston? Badly written, but pretty frightening stuff. Where's the rest of the story? The rest hasn't been written, and I think I can tell you why. The handwriting seems to indicate a very disturbed personality. More than that, Margot, this author, Alan Kane, hasn't finished the story because he's only lived the first 3 chapters. What makes you think so? Look, Cranston, murder is my business. Fictional murder, that is. I've read and published thousands of murder stories, and I've come to know the difference between a fiction writer making his stuff sound like fact and a crackpot. Wait, crackpot is that old? I didn't know that your term was that old. I thought that was from the 70s. Anyway. And a crackpot trying to make fact sound like fiction. And you think Kane actually lived this? Started by killing those animals? The cat and dog that annoyed and frustrated him? Yes, Margot, and he writes about the boy wanting to kill because he thought the boy was laughing at him. There is a frightening progression in those events, Hal, and it reads more like a diary than a story. That's why I wanted you to see it before I return it. Hal, if you want my advice, I wouldn't return or reject that thing until you've had a chance to find out more about this fellow Kane. Why not? Because I agree this isn't fiction but fact, and Kane is working up to killing a man, and if you reject his brainchild, you could become the material for his next chapter. You could be right. You deal in fiction. I deal in fact. But I've rejected the tribe of 1,000 screwballs and cranks. This is something more, and you know it, or you wouldn't have asked us to come here and read this manuscript. Yes, I'll admit it worries me. What do you suggest? Hold the manuscript a few days. I'd like to meet the author. Check his neighborhood for a basis for those strangling incidents. What's the address? 10 South Street. That's an old rooming house section. Yes, and be careful you don't become Chapter 4. Number 10 South Street is one of those gloomy brownstones, Lamont. Just the place to fit the mood for a frustrated writer, Margot. Didn't you and Hall agree that Kane wasn't a writer but a frustrated man? Sometimes the two go together. Let's ring the doorbell and see. Bzzzt, bzzzt. Kane may not be home. He wrote us spending a lot of time wandering the streets with a chip on his shoulder. Yes, but at night. I've only got one room vacant, and I only take in single men. Oh my goodness. That's all right. We're not looking for a room. If you're selling something, I don't want any. We're not selling anything. If it's one of them surveys, I don't know nothing. We're looking for a writer by the name of Alvin Kane. I don't board no writers. Their typewriters make too much noise. This man writes in longhand, and he gave this house as his address. Nobody by that name ever gets any mail here. Are you sure? Sure as my name is Megs. I get all the mail that comes, and I put it on the hall table for them that rooms here. He might live here under another name and met the mailman outside. If he did, I'd have heard about it. The mailman's a friend of mine. I'm sure he is, sweetie. Stays for a cup of coffee once in a while. What's this Kane fella look like? We don't know. We've never seen him, Miss Meggs. It's Ms. Meggs. I'm a respectable widow, and I run a quiet, respectable house with nobody in it using different names. What do you want with this Kane? We'd like to talk to him about his manuscript and a couple of incidents in the story. What kind of incidents? A cat and dog that were killed. I don't allow no cats or dogs in my house. You people from the SPCA? No, it looks like we might have the wrong address. You sure have. Good day. Lamont, I think that woman was lying. I'm sure she was, and I'm going to prove it. Let's go. Go where? To the district post office to send a letter special delivery to Mr. Kane of this address, which should be delivered this afternoon. o'clock, and there's the mailman, Lamont. Taking our large yellow envelope addressed to Alvin Kane at 10 South Street. He's ringing the doorbell, and that's why I sent the largest envelope I could find, so we could watch it delivered from a distance. The door is opening. I wonder if Miss Meggs will accept it. If she does, we'll know she was lying about Kane and not living in her house. We'll soon know. There's Miss Meggs at the door now. Yes, and she's signing for the envelope. That proves she lied. What do we do now? Just wait here. Drop something. Give her time to give it to Kane, then pay a return call and see what she has to say. What did you put in the envelope, Lamont? Nothing but a blank sheet of paper Kane can use to start his next chapter of confessions. But not finish it, I hope. Our job will be to prevent fiction becoming fact. My manuscript! He sent it back! No! There's nothing in the envelope. Nothing but a blank sheet of paper. Nothing on it. Somebody's making fun of me. Meggs, where are you? Come here. Oh, it's you, Mr. Kane. I've been waiting for you. Some strangers come asking about you. Who came asking about me? I don't know. A man and a woman, and they didn't give their names. What did they want? They wanted to see you about your story writing. My publisher! My editor! They want more! They want to know about a cat and dog that were killed. What did you tell them? Nothing. I told them you didn't live here, like you asked on account of bill collectors and your enemies. Did they come before or after this envelope came? Before. What's the matter with you? Why are you getting so excited? It's a trick, a trap. You're helping them steal my story, my life story. I'm not. I didn't tell them anything. You're lying. I'll find out what you told them. I'm going to the publisher's office. I'll show them they can't steal my story. And if I find out you've lied to me, you'll be the next one to die. We'll return to the shadow in just a moment, but first... Buys blue coal, it's really good apparently, even though this is way before my time. Sorry, I'm lighting something on fire. The cats are waiting by the cat feeder. Waiting for the machine to give them food. Okay. And now, back to the shadow. Checking our strange manuscript sent to a publisher of crime stories who believes the author is confessing to murder, Lamont Cranston and Margot Lane return to a rooming house whose landlady denied any knowledge of the men who may be enacting each chapter of crime. Lamont, do you think that man with the red beard who rushed in and out of here could be our author? Bzzz. It could have been. And that envelope we sent him may have started something. I wonder if the landlady will be more cooperative this time. Oh, it's you again. You two again. Yes, and this time we want to see Mr. Kane. I told you. You told us he didn't live here, but you accepted a special delivery envelope addressed to him at this house. How did you know that? Because I sent it. and we watched you sign for it, and from our car parked across the street. Who are you? And what do you want to do with him? Then you admit he does live here. I ain't saying until you tell me what you want. I told you we want to talk to him about his manuscript. And he was right. You are from the place he sent his story to. Is he the man with the red beard who just rushed in and out of the house again? Yes. But he asked me to say he didn't live here because he didn't want some bill collectors to find him. Did you tell him we'd been here? Yes. After he got that big yellow envelope with nothing in it. Why did you send it? To prove you were lying. I ain't gonna lie for him no more. What? Why did I go southern all of a sudden? Why not? What happened? He acted like a crazy man. Said you were from his publishers and you were trying to steal his story, and I was helping you. Has he ever acted like that before? Not like that. He's always been kind of touchy and suspicious of everybody, but he's never been like that before. Did he threaten you? He sure did. He said if he found out I was helping you steal his story, I'd be the next to die. And I had been thinking about calling the cops before he gets back. Back from where? He said he was going to that editor or publisher and show them they couldn't steal his life story. Good heavens, Lamont. It is a true confession, and he's gone to Hall's office. Where's your phone, Miss Meggs? There's a payphone right here on the wall at the foot of the stairs. Do you have a dime, Lamont? Look in your handbag, Margot. I don't have any small change. Zip. I hope I have, but doesn't Hall leave his office at 4:30? Yes, but he and some of the editors sometimes stay later for story conferences. Can you find a dime or 2 nickels? Not one, Lamont. Don't you have a private phone, Miss Meggs? No, I don't. On account of my rumors would always be sneaking in and using it. We'll go see if you can find 2 nickels or a dime. Alright, but you'll have to pay me back. This is none of my business. It may be your life and the lives of others. Hurry. Alright, but if you ask me, he ought to be arrested. She's right, Lamont. He sounds dangerous. Granted, Margot. But he's done nothing the police could hold him 5 minutes for. Couldn't he be held for observation? Not until he blew his top in the presence of the police. And we can't count on that. Hurry, Miss Meggs. I'm looking. Lamont, why don't you drive to Hall's office? Maybe you can beat Kane there. Warn them he's coming. I'll stay here and phone if Miss Meggs finds some change. That's an idea. Margot, at any rate, wait here. Get all you can out of Miss Meggs, and I'll call you at this number the minute I get to Hal's office. Oh. Where's my editor, miss? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Hall is gone for the day. Where is my story? I'm sorry. I'm only Mr. Hall's secretary, and I don't have anything to do with the manuscript submitted to us. I want my story, and you're trying to steal it. We don't steal stories. If yours isn't acceptable, it will be sent back to you by the mail if you send return postage. You sent me a yellow envelope with nothing in it. We did not. You sent somebody to find out if my story was true. We don't print true stories. I want my story. There's no one here who can give it to you. I want my story. I'll see if there's anyone. No, you don't. You're going to tell someone to hide it. No, there's no one else here. I'll go see if I can find it on Mr. Hall's desk.
I'll go with you. Nobody's going to steal my story.
No, please wait here. I'll see. What's your name?
Kane. Alvin Kane.
Oh.
You know my name. You know about my story. You're trying to steal it before it's finished. Ring, ring.
The phone. I have to answer it.
No, we'll get my story.
It may be Mr. Hall. He'll want to talk to you about your story. Maybe buy it.
It's a trick.
You answer it. I'll get the story for you.
What happened?
No.
It's a trick.
You answer it. I'll get the story for you.
No, you wait here.
Please, let me go.
Shut up. Hello?
Hello. Is Mr. Hall's secretary there?
Who wants her?
Margot Lane. It's urgent.
What do you want?
Could I talk to his secretary? It's important.
No, she's busy.
Are you Alvin Kane?
Yes. Why?
It's about your story. We want to talk to you about buying it.
You want to buy it, Miss Lane? Print it with my name on it?
Yes.
Where are you?
At your rooming house. We've been looking for you.
You wait there. I'll get my story and come back.
No, it's too valuable. It's locked in a safe. Mr. Hall's secretary can't get it for you, but we know all about it. We'll buy it. But we want to know what you're going to do in the next chapter.
That depends.
I still need to figure out who my next victim's going to be. Alright. Come back to Miss Meggs. We'll talk about it.
I want to talk to the editor, Mr. Hall.
He'll be here. And tell his secretary to ask Mr. Cranston to come to Miss Meggs as soon as he can.
Who's Cranston?
He's our crime specialist. Have Mr. Hall's secretary tell Mr. Cranston to hurry, and we'll have a story conference.
A story conference? You wait. I'll come.
Why do I keep,
You tell Cranston to hurry over to Miss Meggs.
Yes. I'll tell Mr. Cranston.
Hello? Anyone here? Good grief. Miss Reed.
Mr. Cranston.
Has Kane been here?
Yes.
What happened?
He wanted to see Mr. Hall. He wanted his manuscript. I think he would have killed me if Miss Lane hadn't phoned. Talked to him.
What did she say to him?
She persuaded him to go back to Miss Meggs.
Good grief. How?
She said she'd be there. Talked to him about buying his story. And I was telling you to hurry to Miss Meggs.
Can I call outside on this phone?
Yes, it's a night line. You can dial.
Did Kane strike you?
No, I was so frightened. When he ran up, I just fainted. I'm sorry.
I shouldn't wonder. He beat me here. I must have taken a cab. I left Miss Lane to call here, warn you. But she must have realized your danger.
Yes. She persuaded him to leave and said Mr. Hall would be there, and you, our crime specialist, would come for a story conference.
Story conference? Come on, Margot. Answer the phone. Kane might be taking another cab. How long has he been gone?
I don't know. I was too surprised and frightened to notice at the time, and then I fainted.
Just a minute. Lamont? Margot, get out of that house and take Miss Meggs with you. But Lamont, don't argue. King beat me here to Hal's office and may take a cab back to Miss Meggs. Is Mr. Hall's secretary all right? Yes. Your story conference may have saved her life. Now get out of there and meet me on the corner, and don't let Kane see Miss Meggs. Shall I call the police? He still hasn't committed a crime they can hold him for. Get out before I have to call Commissioner Weston and report a homicide. We'll return to the shadow in just a moment, but first, a LaCroix break. Doing all these voices is a bit hard on the vocal cords. Now, back to the shadow. Tracking down a would-be author who seems to be living his crime story. As he writes it, chapter by chapter, Lamont Cranston finds Margot Lane waiting for him near the rooming house where the writer lives. Lamont, I thought you'd never get here. Rush hour traffic held me up. Where's Miss Meggs? She wouldn't leave her house. She said if Kane made any trouble, she'd beat him to a pulp and call the cops. So she still thinks he's a harmless guy writing imaginary stories of his crimes. She says she doesn't care what he is, and she's going to be there to get her rent out of him before anyone takes him away. Have you seen anyone with a red beard go into number 10? Yes, just a few minutes ago. What are we going to do? You're going in that drugstore and phone Commissioner Weston. Tell him what we know and what we suspect. What are you going to do? The Shadow is going to have a story conference with that greedy landlady and Alvin Kane. Don't lie to me, Miss Meggs. That Lane woman said she'd wait for me. The editor is coming, and so is a crime specialist, and we're going to have a story conference. She left and wanted me to go too. And don't you call me a liar, and don't you bust my furniture, and you pay the rent you owe me and get out of here. I'll get out as soon as they've brought my story. I'll live in a penthouse and have lots of money, and then nobody will laugh at me. I'll start laughing as soon as I get my back rent. You'll be sorry if you do. I'm sorry I ever let you get a week behind. And you'll pay me now, or I will go up and lock your room so you can't skip with that junk you call clothes. You deadbeat! Don't you dare call me a deadbeat, or you'll be... Bzzzt. That'll be my editor. Perhaps his associate, the crime specialist. Maybe a psychiatrist. Send them up to my room. I'll receive them in my den. Den it is, where you'll be laughing like a hyena or a mad dog baying at the moon. Zzz, zzz. All right, quit wearing on my bell. I'm coming. What do you... Them kids again. Ringing and running and hiding. Keep away from my bell, you brats. Come back and I'll take the broom to you. Come back into your house, Miss Meggs. No children rang your bell. Who said that? The Shadow, Miss Meggs. How'd you get in my house? Through this open door. Yuck. Where are you? Who closed my door? I don't see nobody. No one sees the Shadow, Miss Meggs, for I have the power to cloud your greedy mind. So listen carefully to what I have to say. I'm listening. What do you want? I want to know if your roomer, Alvin Kane, is still in this house. Yes. He just ran up to his room, thinking you was his editor. What room? The top floor rear. The cheapest room I got. And he ain't paid up for that. You will be paid, Miss Meggs. That's what he said, when I just told him to pay up and get out. You're lucky you didn't pay with your life. Now get out of this house, Miss Meggs. Leave Alvin Kane to the shadow. I won't. You ain't real. I'm just hearing things. Talking to myself like crazy. No, to the shadow. Something touched me, but there's nobody, and nobody will believe me. I'm getting out of this house. It's haunted. I must be ready. I must think what to tell them about my next chapter. What I'm going to do, as if I'd already done it. Why don't they come? What if that Miss Meggs sent them away? I'll kill her. That's it. My next chapter. Meggs, the greedy old... Yes, just a moment. Come in, gentlemen. You must pardon my poor artist's quarters, but genius is often close to madness, Kane. Who knocked? Spoke? Laughed? It's too late to lock your door against the shadow. Shadow? Don't bother to look around the room, Kane. No man can see the shadow. Who are you? Why are you here? I have come to your story conference, Kane. My story conference? You want to buy my story? I want to hear your story. The next chapter. What you plan to do. I know what's going to happen. More exciting things than in the beginning. What kind of things? At first, only little things died. A cat? A dog? Yes. Did you really kill them? Yes. Why? They belonged next door. They barked and yowled, kept me awake nights. I caught them, killed them. That started it. Are you going to kill more cats and dogs, Kane? No. That isn't exciting enough for a story. People only get a thrill out of reading people killing people. Have you selected your victim? Yes, Miss Meggs, my landlady. Why? She's a greedy old woman, and she laughs at me. Is that reason enough to kill someone, even in a story? It doesn't matter. It's my story, and I can make it happen. How? Miss Meggs is a big, powerful woman. She could throw you out of this house. No, she can't. I have something that will shut her mouth. Something she make her quit laughing at me. Where did you get that gun, Kane? I bought it in a pawn shop. Do you have a permit for it? No, and it doesn't matter. It will matter to the police when they come and find you with that gun in possession, Kane. They won't find me. I'll kill Meggs and get away and hide. The police would find you. I'll kill the police and get away, and there'd be no more chapters. And there'd be more chapters. Blech. No, Kane. This is the last chapter, entitled Alvin Kane Meets the Shadow. I'll kill you, Shadow. if you try to stop me. No, you don't. Nobody will stop me. You'll only leave this room in a straitjacket. The police and psychiatrists will write the remaining chapters of your life. We'll return to the shadow in just a moment, but first... Now back to the shadow. You know, Mama, even with Kane arrested for illegal possession of that gun and held for observation, this case worries me.
Why, Margot?
I have quite a lot of friends and acquaintances who are crime writers, and they all want you to read their stuff, but most of them are rather touchy about criticism.
Most of them are milk toast.
Oh, that's how that word is spelled. Who wouldn't actually kill a fly. I suppose I catch one of them sticking pins in flies. Then you'd better watch them carefully. Oh, good heavens. I know one that's well on the way.
How so?
He collects butterflies and sticks them on a board with pins. Listen again next week, same time, same station, when the shadow demonstrates that the weeds of crime bear bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows.
Okay, that was a nice quick one.
I've seen this story plotline before in several other types of crime stories where it's like the crime author gets so invested in his story that he goes off and actually kills someone.
I really need to work on my
reading. So who's here today? Don't be shy and say hello.
Alright, so now we're going to
Move on to the Silent Avenger. They changed the Shadow's slogan. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. Again, Blue Coal Dealers presents radio's strangest adventurer, the Shadow. Mystery man who strikes terror into the hearts of shamsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. Today, Blue Coal brings you the Shadow's latest adventure, the Silent Avenger. The Shadow's exciting adventure begins in just a moment, but first, I'd like to remind you... Okay, this is the Blue Coal. This is the Blue Coal commercial. Order! Order in the court. Joseph Bricker, you have been duly tried by a jury and found guilty of murder in the first degree. You now appear in this court that sentence may be passed upon you. But before I pronounce sentence, have you anything to say? Yeah, I have. Before you pass sentence on me, I'm gonna pass sentence on you. You, Judge Wilson, and Sloan, for the prosecuting attorney, and those 12 good and true saps on the jury. Order in the court. And one more, maybe. The guy who really trapped me in the first place. The only guy smart enough to get me. The Shadow. Order in the court. That will do, Joseph Bricker. You have nothing to say in your own behalf. This is in my own behalf, and you'd better listen, all of you. I know I'm on my way to the death house, the chair, but I'm warning. Order! Order in the court! Joseph Bricker, by the power vested in me by the people of this state, I hereby order you to be taken to the state penitentiary, there to be delivered over to the warden, by whom, on a certain day determined by this court, he shall, in a manner prescribed by law, put you to death, and may God have mercy on your soul. Court is adjourned. All right, come on, clear the courtroom. Outside. Well, it's a sheer bluff, I tell you. How can Bricker kill a whole jury? The DA, Judge Wilson, even the governor. I tell you, he's crazy.
Still, I'm glad I wasn't that jury.
You bet. All his gangs were wiped out. Bricker's gang are all dead or in jail.
I know, but you can't.
Yeah, but nobody's ever seen this Shadow. He could appear right in this courtroom and not be seen. I'd hate to have anybody like that. Where's Margot? Let's get out of... Oh, Cranston. That's what that's supposed to be. I thought that was... trying to figure out what the hell crayons meant. There, Margot. Let's get out of here. It must be very flattering to inspire such awe and fear, Lamont. It has its disadvantage, Margot. Unfortunately, the mystery surrounding the Shadow inspires fear and terror in the innocent as well as the guilty. The unknown is so often associated with evil. There's no help for it. The Shadow must remain a shadow. Lamont, what do you think of Bricker's threat? Do you think it's just bluff? I wish I did, Margot. Meaning, Lamont Cranston is going to don the Shadow's cloak and call on Joe Bricker in prison. Your brother wants to see you, Bricker. Okay. Hello, Danny. Hello, Joe. You've got 5 minutes. Better make the most of it. Deputies are here from the state pen to take you bye-bye to the bakehouse. I'll be back. All right. Come on in, Danny. Sit on the bunk. I want to talk to you, and there ain't much time. Yeah, it's like a cage where they keep animals, huh, Joe? Lay off that, Danny. Okay, don't get sore. Sit down here and listen to what I've got to say. Are they gonna kill you, Joe? Yeah, but they're gonna pay for it. Every last one of them. You know who they are, don't you? I've told you over and over again. Yeah, Joe, you told me. And you know what you're going to do. You remember everything I told you, don't you, Danny? Yeah, Joe, I remember. I won't forget. When the newspapers say they put you in the death house, I kill one of them. That's right, Danny. And don't forget, these people I told you about, the judge, the jury, that prosecuting attorney, are the same ones who drafted you into the army, sent you over to France, let you get shell-shocked so it's hard for you to remember things. Sure, I won't forget. Hey, will it hurt much when they kill you, Joe? Stop that, will you? Okay, I just want to know. You just keep your mind on the jury and Judge Wilson. Maybe even the governor. You'll get them all, eh, Danny? Yeah, Joe. They won't know what hit them. That's the stuff, Danny. Now, just one more thing. There's a guy that may get after you. He's smarter than the cops. He's the one who really got me. You gotta keep away from him. Don't give him a chance to find you. How do I do that? You gotta keep away from home. Don't go near the flat or the old lady. But Mom will worry if I don't come home. No, she won't, Danny. She'll know you got things to do. All right, Joe. What about the fella I can't see? Is he dead? Like all my buddies in the war? The ones that talk to me in the dark? Nah, Danny. This guy's different. He ain't dead. He's alive. You can hear his voice, only you can't see him. But if you ever hear his voice, you'll know he's near you. Somewhere in the shadows. Yeah. If he talks to me, I'll fix him, Joe. Sure, but not the way you will get the others, Danny. 'Cause you can't see him. See? Now, look. You know those old hand grenades you have at home? Yeah. Well, I want you to carry a couple with you. If the guy ever finds you, if he tries to stop you paying... Sorry. Stop, paying him off for killing me. You just pull the pin of the hand grenade and throw it where you think his voice is coming from. That'll get him. All right, Joe. But how will I ever know when it's him? You'll know, Danny. He has a queer kind of laugh, and he calls himself the Shadow. All right, Bricka, time's up. Come on, you. Okay. So long, Danny. Don't you forget anything. So long, Joe. I won't forget. I won't forget nothing you told me. Come on. You're this way. Shake it up. That poor dope. He'll do it all right. He'll fix them. Every last one of them if I burn. Who's that? I heard somebody, but no, there's nobody here. Hey, guard. Are you surprised to find me here, Joe Bricka? Shadow. So, you weren't expecting me, and yet prisons are filled with shadows. Shadows in the minds of men walking in the shadow of death itself. What do you want? You put me here, sent me to the chair. Why can't you let me be alone? Because your career of murder is not over. Because I know you mean to carry out the threat you made in court. Yeah, and you can't stop me, Shadow. I can, because you are going to tell me how the jury, the prosecuting attorney, and Judge Wilson are going to be killed. You're crazy. I'm not telling you anything, Shadow. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I got nothing to lose. You are telling me, Bricka. Yeah? You see, I can read your mind. One thought is racing through your mind now. It's mirrored in your eyes, etched on your brain. You're lying, trying to trick me into telling you. All right, I'll tell you what you're thinking about. You're thinking of a man. He acts strangely. He's shell-shocked. No! Am I right? No, stop it! I find it interesting how they write telepathy back then. This man is very close to you. I've got it. He's your brother. His name is... let's see... Danny. Danny, isn't it? No, go away. Leave me alone. I see that even now that your brother Danny is hurrying home to get a high-powered rifle out of a trunk. Not true! A rifle equipped with telescopic sights. No. And a silencer. You're thinking of Danny's medals for marksmanship. Those decorations for valor. A sniper. A sniper so cunning he could hide in an open battlefield. A lie. Pick his enemies off a long range and not be seen. That's all I need to know, Bricka. all I need to know. No, you're crazy. You're just guessing. All right, suppose he is. You won't find him. You won't stop him, Shadow. Shut up, Ricker. Throw him out of here. Yeah, pipe down. What's eating you? Say, what's the matter with you? Who do you think you're talking to? It's the Shadow. He's here in the prison. Well, don't let that worry you, Bricker. There's plenty of shadows. Where you're going? Come on. The deputies are waiting, and you're heading for the last mile. Now look, Mr. Hanson. Every one of your juniors is in danger. You shouldn't be here on the streets. Wait, is that supposed to be Cranston again? This death threat may seem like a lot of hooey to you, but I've decided to guard you. If anything happens, they'll send me back to pounding a beat. Well, I'm sorry, Inspector, but I've got business to attend, and I can't hide in my office. Hanson, what's the matter, man? The man, look at him. He's fallen down. Say, what's the matter with that man? What's going on here? Get back, everybody. Who are you? Craig Homicide Squad. Ben's been shot. You crazy. I didn't hear no shot. Neither did I. Just the same, he got a bullet right between the eyes. Looks like Joe Bricker is keeping his word. Lamont, can't you do something? Can't you find Danny Bricker? No, Margot. He got away. He hasn't been near his mother's home since his brother, Joe, went to the death house. X-ray! Get your X-ray here! Bricker juror shot down! X-ray! Paper! I've got to find Danny Bricker. He's somewhere, hiding somewhere, waiting to strike again. I've got to find him. There's a lot of musical in this. Good morning, Mr. O'Hara. I'd like some oranges and... Good heavens, Miss Adams. What are you doing out on the street? I thought the police had detectives watching every one of you jurors that was on the Bricker case. Oh, they've got a detective staying at my house, but I had to have some things for dinner and I slipped out. Mother, can I have some candy? Yes, dear, of course you can. You can just... Mother, what's the matter? What have you done to me? Sam! Yeah? Quick, call the police! Get a doctor! Miss Adams has been shot! I'm afraid she's dead. Yes, the killer has struck again. Judge Wilson. Yes, Harvey. Judge, don't you think it would be, well, safer with a killer still at large if you had those window curtains closed? No, it's not necessary. This apartment is on the 20th floor. Yeah, I know, Your Honor, but just the same, Ring. I'll answer it, sir. Thank you. Hello? Yes, Judge Wilson is right here, Your Excellency. The governor's on the wire, sir. Here for you. Hello? Yes, Governor? Yes, of course, you couldn't commute Joe Bricker's sentence. If you did a thing like that, even to save the rest of the jury, there would be no more law and order. Look, Governor, don't you think it'd be wise for you to cancel your engagement to ride in the parade tomorrow? You'll be in an open car and a perfect target to crash.
Oh. Judge Wilson! Governor, Judge Wilson has just been shot. He's dead. The Shadow will continue with his adventures in just a moment. In the meantime, here's a message from Blue Coal that has been out of business for several decades. Alright. Vroom, vroom. Good work, Margot. Hello, Lamont? Didn't take you long to get here. Let me help you out of the car. I was waiting for your call, Lamont. As a matter of fact, I've been waiting for days. Where have you been? What have you been doing? Same thing the entire police force of the city has been doing, Margot. Chasing a will-o'-the-wisps. Are you sure it's Joe Brecker's brother, Danny? Yes, I haven't any doubt about it. The police can't find him, and I haven't a single clue to go on. What do you know about him? I looked up his record. He was shell-shocked during the war in France. He's an expert marksman, a sniper. Society trained him to kill men. It told him they were enemies, that he would kill them off. Now the shell-shocked mind is remembering what society taught him, to kill. Yes. And another thing, for people who have been through that experience, life is cheap. Yes, but these poor people he shot and killed, the jurors and the judge, they were only doing their duty. They're innocent. Yes, individually they're innocent, Margot. Individually, we're all innocent, well, and yet all guilty because this Danny, Joe Brecker's brother, is a product of our own folly. Teaching men to kill in time of war, yet expecting them to respect life in time of peace. Lamont, why did you want me to meet you here? I want you to do something for me, Margot. I want you to go into that brownstone house over there. Joe Brecker's mother lives in the basement. Yes? Joe is scheduled to die at 5 o'clock exactly, 10 minutes from now. All right, Lamont. I'll do it. Where will you be? I'll be with you, Margot, as the Shadow. I have a feeling that Danny may come to his mother tonight, either just before or just after his brother dies. Hurry. We have less than 10 minutes. Here's the house. I'll ring the bell. Psst, psst. Lamont, what should I tell her? That I'm a reporter? Yes, but don't try to make her answer questions. I hear someone coming. Yes? What do you want? Miss Brecker, I'd like to speak to you. May I come in? I don't care. You can come in if you want to. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. Nothing will ever matter again. Oop. There we go. The cats are being fed. I know you've been through a terrible ordeal these past days, Miss Brecker. How could you know what I've been through? How could anyone know? My one son is a murderer, and the other one... God only knows what or where. I'm very sorry. If there's anything I can do... In 3 minutes, they'll be killing my son, Joe. There's nothing anyone can do. It's his brother, Daniel. I'm so worried about him. Why doesn't he come home? Why doesn't he come home? Huh? Oh, Danny!
Yeah, I come. Joe said I shouldn't, but I had to come. I knew you'd want me home. Danny, where have you been? What's Joe making you do? I've just been doing what Joe told me to do for him, Ma. Who's that girl there? What's she doing here? Why, she's just a friend, Danny. Just a friend come to sit with me. She won't tell nobody I've been here, will she? No, Danny. She won't tell anyone. Ma, you're gonna kill Joe in a few minutes. Yes. 5 o'clock. Then I gotta go out and do one more thing for Joe. Look, it's almost time. No, Danny, no, you can't. I won't let you. Let go of me, Ma. No. Let go of me. Danny, I gotta do what Joe told me. I gotta keep my word to Joe. No, Danny, listen to me. I know who's been killing those people, shooting them. Oh, you've got to give yourself up, Danny. They won't hurt you. They didn't know. Doom, 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 doom. You didn't know what you were doing. 5 o'clock. It's time. 5 o'clock. Joe's dead. Now I gotta go back to the tower and do the last thing Joe wanted me to do for him. Danny, don't. You don't do enough harm. You keep out of this. Joe told me to do this. I can still hear a voice telling me to do it. Now you hear a voice telling you not to, Danny. Voice. I know. You're the shadow. Yes, Danny. For your own sake. For your mother's sake, Danny. It told me what to do with you. He knew you'd find me. That's why I've got this hand grenade. Oh, Danny, don't. I got my finger on the firing pin. I'm gonna pull it out. Stop, Danny. I'm warning you. The voice came from here, in the corner. Joe told me to throw the grenade. Boom, boom, boom. Goodbye, Shadow. What happened? It's all right. I managed to pick up the grenade and throw it through the window to the court before it exploded. Oh, thank heaven. I don't mind saying that's the closest call the Shadow ever had. Lamont, how long have you been here in your office? What happened? Were you able to trail Danny to his hiding place? No. By the time I got to the street after the hand grenade exploded, he disappeared. Haven't you any idea where he went? Where that tower he mentioned might be? No. I've been working on this enlarged map of the Midtown section, trying to find some tall building, some tower Danny Bricker could use to hide and pick off the governor. Well, he said something about a tower. It must be somewhere along the line of the march of today's parade, Lamont. Margot, that's the Wardman Tower. But it isn't finished. They've stopped working on it. It's nothing but a steel frame. What could be a better place for a sharpshooter like Danny Bricker? There's no work going on there, just a watchman down on the street level. Margot, it's a long chance, but it may be the answer. Come on, we haven't a minute to lose. My car's downstairs, Lamont. I'll drive you over there. But what if he isn't there? What if he's somewhere else, waiting to strike? In that case, Margot, I'm afraid we'll have a new governor in this state. Well, depends on how good of a job the governor was doing. Just a couple of minutes now, Joe. Just a couple of minutes, and the governor's car will come along. And I'll do the last thing you asked me to do, Joe. Wind velocity 0. Range 300 yards. He'll die quick, Joe, like you died. Yeah, the governor's coming now, Joe. That's his automobile with all the flags on it. That's him, sitting in the back, with all those fills around him. But I can pick him out. I won't miss, Joe. Danny Bricker, listen to me. Who's that? Who said that? Who laughed like that? Don't you recognize the shadow, Danny? But you said the hand grenade would fix you. You see, Danny, your brother was wrong. Put down that rifle, Danny Bricker. How did you find me way up here? How did you know I was hiding here among these steel girders? Just like I used to hide in the trees in the war. That doesn't matter, Danny Bricker. All that matters is you must not kill any more people. But I got to. Just one more, Shadow. Just one... He's trying to reason with him. Just one more. The governor, down in that car. I promised Joe. No, Danny. You will never keep that promise. Put down the rifle. Put it down, Danny. Lay it down on that steel girder and crawl back to the catwalk. All right, I'll put it down. Where are you, Shadow? I still got another grenade. Talk to me, Shadow. Say something so I can tell where you are. Crawl back to the catwalk, Danny. Crawl back to the catwalk, I say. No, I won't. You can't make me. Come here and get me if you want me, Shadow. I don't want to have to do that, Danny. Don't you come near me, Shadow. Don't you touch me. If you do, I'll drop this hand grenade. I'll throw it down on all those people. I'll kill dozens of them. There. I've pulled the pin. I'll throw it. Danny, listen to me. Hold that hand grenade, Danny. Hold it tight, Danny Bricker. See your fingers tight about it? Your mind obeys mine. Do you hear me, Danny? Danny, hold it. Don't throw that hand grenade. Hold it. Hold it tight. Don't throw it. Don't drop it. Don't drop it, Danny. Don't drop it, Danny. Don't drop it, Danny. Don't drop it. Yes, Commissioner Weston. A high-powered rifle fell into the street right in front of the governor's car. I'm glad no one was hurt. This is the 13th floor. This is where the bomb went off. Blew the guy to pieces. Good heavens. He must have had a time bomb that went off too quickly. Any idea who it was? Yep, they found an identification card and some newspaper clippings in his pocket on what was left of him. It was Danny Bricker, Joe Bricker's brother. Well, I guess that's that. I don't guess we'll ever know what really happened. Anyway, there's one consolation. Looks as though the shadow fell down on this case just as badly as we did. Not quite, Commissioner Weston. Oh, so you got here in time to take the credit for this, eh, Shadow? There is no credit, no glory in the death of Danny Bricker, Commissioner Weston. He was a victim, a human instrument of destruction, fashioned by mankind, that teaches men to kill their enemies in time of war, yet expects them to forget their murderous art in time of peace. Danny Bricker was an enemy of society, a killer. But only because you and I and countless thousands made him one. No, Commissioner.
There is no glory in this for you or the shadow, or for any man. You have just heard a dramatized version of one of the many copyrighted stories which appear in the Shadow magazine. All the characters and all the places named are fictitious. Any similarities to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. As you sow evil, so shall you reap evil. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows. Ooh, so they did change the ending a little bit, the beginning and end line. Alright, that was actually a pretty exciting one. Let's see, should we read another one? Kind of want to give my vocal cords a little bit of a break. Ooh, I know what we can do. Mike's Total Dragon channel sent me this thread the other day. Let's see if I can find it. Alright, yeah, he sent me this thread about... Here we go. Alright, so... Might as well follow. Following. Alright, many of us think of Walter Gibson as the father of the shadow, but the name and initial concept came from radio writer Harry Charlotte. What many may not know is how Harry Charlotte's own dark fate was a mystery worthy of the shadow himself. Alright. Harry Charlotte was a writer for the detective story radio show, contracted by pulp publisher Street and Smith to advertise their legendary magazine. But mysterious hosts, such as the Masked Tenor, were all the rage in early 30s, and Harry Charlotte's spin on one became an icon. After delivering a flurry of suggestions to director William Sweets, eponym such as the Sleuth and the Inspector, it was the robed specter of the shadow that would stick. Actor James LaCorto would play the role, and his spine-chilling portrayal was a sensation. LaCorto would move on to Hollywood, where he enjoyed success in gangster pictures. His successor, Frank Riedrich Jr., would be the man to define the shadow for nearly a decade. By 1935, the shadow had his own radio drama. That same year, his creator would mysteriously perish. On October 3rd, 1935, the lifeless body of shadow creator Harry Charlotte was found in a Bowery hotel where he registered under the name Mr. Lowe of New York after mysteriously vanishing from his family. Initially a suspected heart attack, the autopsy soon revealed worse. Medical examiner Benjamin N. Vance ascribed the death to multiple organ failure and ordered a full chemical analysis. The results were conclusive. An unidentified poison had ended Harry Charlotte's life. His body lay unidentified as police began a full investigation. Further information only deepened the mystery. Charlotte had twice been admitted to a psychiatric ward at Bellevue suffering from psychosis. When his wife had at last claimed the body, she added that he had suffered heart trouble in the past. She was to meet him the evening he died. Hapless newspapermen reported that
The writer of The Shadow had died under dubious circumstances, leading to a stunned Walter Gibson, working on a new pulp story in Florida, to march to the Sentinel-Star in person and correct the error. The Shadow magazine printed the following. Alright. Recent newspaper articles reporting the death of Harry E. Charlotte have credited him with creating the character of the Shadow and writing the Shadow stories for Street and Smith. We wish to say that the Shadow was created for our readers by Maxwell Grant, and that every Shadow story printed had come from the pen of Mr. Grant as the exclusive author of the Shadow's exploits, and that he will continue to produce them for the Shadow magazine alone. Any other statements are erroneous. That is so crappy of them to pretend that he didn't write the stories. Whatever. Police agonized over a motive and attempted in vain to prove a suicide theory, but no matter how many leads they pursued, nothing panned out. Harry Charlotte, the creator of the original radio incarnation of the Shadow, died by a mysterious poisoning. His death has never been solved. Okay, so they were saying that he did. Oh yeah, they're saying that he didn't write the original pulp stories. He was just working on the original radio show. But if you remember from that time we covered Pulp Heroes, the Shadow started in radio. So yes, he kind of was one of the original creators. So it's so crappy how they. I guess they wanted to downplay the controversy, because back in the day, for some weird reason, they had this thing where they didn't want people to associate tragedies with their property anyway whatsoever, even though it's like, tragedy's gonna happen, but what ifs? Maybe we could find a new video about the Shadow. Why the hell is that there? Alright, let's react to this video. I do like performing these for you guys, but doing the different voices is kind of murder on my cords, especially attempting the Shadow's voice.
What's up, my comic comrades? After a long hiatus, today we're returning to our series on pulp comic era characters with the OG himself, the Shadow. The first two episodes we posted on classic pulp comic characters featured the Phantom and Dick Tracy. But today we're highlighting arguably the most mysterious character from that era, and one who doesn't get nearly the attention he deserves. I mean, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
The Shadow knows.
The first time the Shadow was introduced to us wasn't in print form. It was actually during a radio show called Detective Story Hour from July 31st, 1930. He would later hit the pages almost a year later in The Living Shadow on April 1st, 1931. He was created for the radio by Harry E. Chariot and fleshed out in the magazines by Walter B. Gibson. He was actually created 8 years before Superman and 9 years before Batman, so he is quite literally the definition of OG. And even though he predates Batman and Superman by almost a full decade, there are a surprising number of comic fans who don't know much, if anything, about him. In fact, for many people, their first and only introduction to the Shadow was actually through his 1994 live-action film simply titled The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin as the title character. I mean,
this is why I'm a little upset when current comic readers or comic writers, they try to brush away the old stuff and say, well, that's old. How about we don't focus on the old stuff and just read all of the new stuff? And it's like, but understanding or looking back at the old stuff helps us understand what makes the new stuff different, or it defines what the genre is.
That's where I first learned about the character when I was a kid, so I'm with you. But while the movie doesn't necessarily hold up, and even at the time of its release it wasn't a mind-blowing critical success, I love it anyway. Yes, nostalgia is a strong thing, my friends. I even dressed up as the Shadow one Halloween because of this movie. I had some of the Shadow toys from the film as well. Speaking of, do any of you remember those toys made for the film? They were freaking dope. The Shadow's action figure's eyes would glow when light went.
He looks like the Punisher in that outfit, like the Punisher with a cowboy hat.
Through his head. Love that thing. I think I still have it in my closet somewhere, but I digress. The point is, the average person doesn't know much about the Shadow short of that 1994 film, but he's a dope character, so today we're gonna change that, starting with his origin. Okay, so we've been friends for a long time, and you guys know quite a bit about me at this point, but did you know that recently I've officially been proclaimed a Lord? That's right, I'm a rare Puerto Rican Scottish Lord.
If you are a Scottish Lord, then I am Mickey Mouse.
Make fun of it if you want, but for reals, I'm a Scottish Lord. Shop their Black Friday sale and grab your gifts right now. Plus, if you use
Yeah, that scam thing where it's like, give us some money and you get to be a lord in Scotland, and it turns out it was a massive scam.
code variant at checkout, you'll get an additional 10% off. Not to mention, it helps our channel. Again, that's establishedtitles.com/variant. As I said a minute ago, the Shadow first appeared in the Detective Story Hour radio program on July 31st, 1930. The show's mystery narrator was originally voiced by James Locurdo and was replaced 3 months later by the actor Frank Riddick Jr. The character would open up the show with his iconic line, "Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows." If you've never had a chance to listen to one of those classic radio Shadow stories, you need to. Especially with podcasts and audiobooks bringing back a new popularity for the audio format, those classic radio shows are a lot of fun. A bit of a novelty, obviously, but still fun, still great. We'll drop a link or two for you guys to check them out in the description. Anyway, as the fictional narrator of the Detective Story Hour, the Shadow became incredibly popular. So much so, the Street and Smith publications hired pulp writer Walter B. Gibson to create the character's origin and backstory. And that
Yeah. Like I've mentioned in the past, the Shadow was basically an oops baby. He wasn't supposed to be a character in and of himself.
is when the Shadow made his print debut in his very own pulp magazine entitled The Shadow, a detective magazine, in April of 1931. But let's go back to the beginning and see how the Shadow was given his name. It all starts with Detective Story magazine, which was published from October 15th, 1915 to the summer of 1949 for a total of 1,057 issues.
That's quite impressive.
In the early 1930s, Detective Story magazine wanted to boost their sales, so the publisher Street and Smith hired David Chrisman with Ruth, Ralph, and Ryan Advertising Agency, along with writer-director William Sweets, to adapt the magazine's story into a radio series. The idea was to use the radio show to push people to the magazine. Chrisman and Sweets agreed that the upcoming radio series should be narrated by some mysterious storyteller with an evil, sinister voice. The next thing they knew they would need is an epic name for the mysterious narrator. Suggestions were thrown out like The Inspector or The Sleuth, before landing on the name we all know, The Shadow. And with that, The Shadow would make his narrating debut on July 31st of 1930 on the Detective Story Hour radio program. The radio show episodes were directly based on the stories from Detective Story magazine, published by Street and Smith, which, fun fact, is billed as the nation's oldest and largest publisher of pulp magazines.
Nice. Did not know that specific fact, but nice.
But I know what you guys are saying. That's really cool and very interesting, but what about when he finally hit print form? Because of the success of The Shadow on the radio program, Street and Smith's circulation manager, Henry William Ralston, decided to leverage the demand for the character and hired Walter B. Gibson to start writing stories about The Shadow in print form. Gibson, under the pen name Maxwell Grant, would go on to write 282 out of the 325 stories over the next 2 decades for The Shadow. Completely insane. Now, as for The Shadow's comic book origin, it's purposely somewhat murky, as the character is meant to be shrouded in mystery. But when you piece together loose details here and there,
I really do like this artwork here. I believe it's Alex Ross' artwork, but he does mostly paintings, and it's a very beautiful job.
through the decades, we see that the Shadow's real name is Ken Allard. He was a spy in World War I and a famous aviator who crashed in a South American jungle. But that wasn't necessarily the worst thing ever, as he would end up making a fortune in that region after discovering a city of gold. The best telling of his story
Interesting.
in one place is given to us in the Shadow Year 1, Issue 7. He would eventually return to New York City taking on the alias Lamont Cranston, but Cranston was actually a stolen identity. The real Lamont Cranston was a wealthy person that Allard had a strikingly similar physical resemblance to, so he would use his identity while the real Cranston was traveling around the world. But what happened during the time
And Cranston just apparently okay with that situation.
he was overseas before he returned to New York? Well, Lamont/Allard breaks it all down for us in the Shadow Year 1, Issue 7. While he's lying in bed with his love interest, Margot Lane, she's holding his hand saying, "What does this do? How do you..." While touching his ring, he tells her, "It's a psychic talisman. It helps me focus my abilities." Rather like a telescope into another person's mind. So yes, she knows he's the Shadow. Anyway, she then says, "You know, I don't even know what to really call you." He responds, "Lamont is fine." She says, "But you're not really him. I mean, you didn't." He responds, "No, rest assured, the real Lamont Cranston is alive and well. He travels and whiles away his days in a cocoon of luxury, much as he's always done. We have an arrangement to share his identity while he's thus removed from society's ranks." As you noted, there's more than a passing resemblance. So he's flat out telling her everything I just told you guys about him and the real Lamont's arrangement. It's at this point she asks, "But why do you need such an alias? I mean, you know, another one," because he also has the Shadow alias. And this is where he gives us his origin on how he became the Shadow. He narrates over a flashback sequence while telling her it was because of the war. "I was a covert operative for the Allied forces, flying sorties behind enemy lines. I saw and did so many terrible things in that conflict. Things you can barely imagine. In the end, both sides wanted me dead. The Germans had it in for me, of course, but even our side, I knew too much dirt that they would rather just stay
Oh, so they tried to Matsog him before Matsog was still a thing.
buried. Luckily, I'd long known how to disappear. After hostilities ended, I became part of the uprooted and the unsung, the lost generation." He explains how he lost his way and became the thing he once despised. He goes on to say, "And then I learned another way. Fleeing my enemies, I found refuge in the halls of the Legion, the mystical city of Shambhala. The monks there taught me how to hone in my latent psychic abilities and how to sublimate my darker nature, how to harness my shadow in the service of justice, which ultimately led him to becoming just that, the Shadow fighting evil." But his backstory doesn't end there. He goes on to say, "But I wasn't the only lost soul injured by the Great War. Another penitent came to the Holy City seeking salvation. He was a German, an adept like myself, Dr. Gerhard Zorn. In combat, we would have been enemies. Here, we were fellow disciples. Yet whereas my psyche had been merely wounded, his proved to be fractured and scarred, truly lost to any redemption."
Oh, so he is gonna be like the ultimate bad guy? Alright.
He rebelled against the monastery's guiding hand and viciously murdered a council of Tulkas, our most revered teachers. I have pursued him ever since, through jungles, over mountains, across oceans, until eventually he fled here, which is what initially brought the Shadow to New York, with him ending by telling Margot, "So now I must wait until Dr. Zorn resurfaces once again." And with that, we have the Shadow's origin, which, as you may have realized, has several parallels to Batman. But it's well known that the Shadow is one of the inspirations for Batman's creation.
Not according to Bob Kane, 'cause he refused to credit anyone.
Pretty cool, I know. But let's move on to story arcs and publication history. Shadow's had a wide variety of print titles over the years, and he's been licensed to several different publishers during that time, including Archie Comics, DC Comics, Dark Horse, Dynamite Entertainment, and so on. But with so many stories,
I wonder if Titan Comics is going to do a run on him, because Titan has been buying up a lot of some old Robert E. Howard stuff, and they've been dipping their toe into pulp. So maybe we'll see the Shadow in Titan.
to choose from, we're going to highlight a few of the most notable along with a few of our favorites over the years. First up, we have the Shadow Year 1, which we just touched on in our origin segment. The 10-issue limited series rolled out in 2013 and peeks under the mask of the Shadow, as his origins had previously been shrouded in a lot of mystery over the years. This series by far gives the most detail about his early days and how he first developed his persona as the Master of Darkness, the Shadow. Then from here, we have the more OG Shadow comics from the 1940s. This series lasted a whopping 101 issues. As far as the Shadow goes for actual comic books and not magazines or comic strips, this is where the Shadow really popped off and became the dark pulp vigilante we know and love today. But unfortunately, it was canceled in 1949 when Street and Smith Publications started having financial difficulties.
The thing that was supposed to save them, and they still shut down. Damn.
Shadow wouldn't return to comic books until his more upbeat, campy revival by Archie Comics in 1964. The 1964 Archie Comics Shadow series is widely known to the Shadow fans as the worst comic book adaptation of the character.
Well, yeah, they tried to make something that's decisively not family-friendly and tried to make him family-friendly for the sake of, Archie. Because it's the Archie show. Ugh. Yeah, publishers really need to stop making dark stuff campy and kid-like.
Forever. And because of that, this series only lasted 8 issues from 1964 to September 1965. What made Shadow fans reject this series? Well, because they pretty much changed everything about the character. In the first issue of this series, we see that Lamont Cranston is a blonde, glasses-wearing billionaire. The Shadow just so happens to be the world's greatest secret agent's alter ego. The Shadow is just some disguise that he uses and looks nothing like the Shadow we all know and love. Instead, he's wearing some generic blue and green superhero costume. It's awful and an utter disgrace to the character. Other tweaks they made to the character included his love interest Margot Lane, who is now his secretary, and Shaiwan Khan is the enemy agent that Cranston faces. Khan is of course one of the Shadow's greatest arch enemies. He believes he's a descendant of Genghis Khan and the rightful ruler of Earth. He's pretty much the Joker to Shadow's Batman, but don't worry, a few years later in 1973, DC Comics would acquire the publishing rights to the Shadow and restore him to the classic and mysterious version of the character. However,
you just know that Archie Comics run, it's 8 issues, but it's probably expensive as hell. Let's look it up on eBay, see what we can get. Oh, hey, not as expensive as I thought they would be. Sonic is more expensive. So I guess nobody really did give a crap about this.
However, that series would also have a short run and only lasted 12 issues. But I thought it was a great take. I mean, it was written by comic writing legend Denny O'Neil. With O'Neil and artist Mike Kaluta, we saw the Shadow pose as a wealthy socialite Lamont Cranston, which she did in order to trick Wall Street broker Osgood Bamber into confiding in him. This ultimately led to the Shadow and partner Margot Lane stopping a robbery planned by the villain. For me, the DC comic covers alone are enough to make you pause. The Shadow series is so nostalgic, they just scream classic DC. Then in 1986, DC Comics would give us the Shadow 4-issue miniseries, which put the Shadow in a contemporary setting, as well as adding some extreme violence.
Ooh, damn. Woo, that's... wow. I guess it's not surprising for Howard Chaykin. He's known for his more out there stuff.
I'm talking seeing someone somehow have their whole body shoved into a 5-gallon water drinking dispenser with their blood pouring out of the tap, and seeing someone's head blown off by a shotgun while looking through a door peephole. And that's just the first issue, full-on RoboCop style violence. Longtime traditional Shadow fans weren't too happy about the gore score, but nonetheless, sales did well and led to a 1987 Shadow series.
Oh, I remember that cover. I've seen that one before. I think I may have had it at one point. I can't remember.
The 87 Shadow series lasted for a total of 19 issues and 2 annuals. It kind of follows the tone of the 4-issue predecessor in terms of violence and overall adult themes and content. This was followed by another Shadow series also published by DC titled The Shadow Strikes. It ran for 31 issues from 1989 to 1992. Dark Horse would also take their crack at publishing Shadow comics, but in more recent years he's been published by Dynamite Entertainment, such as 2012's The Shadow written by Garth Ennis. In this series, the Shadow is set back in the 1930s as a man of darkness who has to stop a conspiracy involving the fate of the world itself after carnage on the New York waterfront. Then in 2017, writer Dan Waters took a stab at it for the new Shadow solo series by Dynamite Entertainment. The series takes place in modern times, but for me, I like the Shadow set in the 30s. It gives them that...
Yeah, kind of like with Conan the Barbarian, where he works better when you keep him in the Hyborian age and not when you try and bring him into the modern age.
Classic timeless pulp noir vibe that is really cool. But the last Shadow story arc or series we're going to mention is also from 2017, and that would...
Why does his face look like that? His eyes look a lot more beady. It's weird.
Be the Shadow Batman 6-issue miniseries by Dynamite and DC Comics. That's right, the Shadow and Batman have teamed up, which was insanely cool because, as we established previously, Batman is in fact loosely inspired by the Shadow. So having these two pair up for a crossover was a bit of a no-brainer. It wasn't the first time, but it's always cool to see. In the series, the Shadow and Batman are forced to work with one another even though they don't like each other. But when they discover an ancient evil that's been living inside the world that they're sworn to protect, the two detectives put their differences aside. It's a really fun contrast because, as we all know, Batman Batman has a no-killing rule, but the Shadow doesn't have a problem with killing. In fact, his main weapons are 2 semi-automatic handguns, so they clash quite often. We get to see the Shadow fight Batman villains like Professor Pig, and even see the Shadow inside the Batcave with Batman and Robin. If you're a fan of the Shadow,
Yeah, there was another Shadow series where the Shadow and Batman teamed up again, and the Joker just appears in one for a few minutes, and the Shadow just immediately tries to gun him down. And Batman, of course, leaps like, "No, don't kill my villain! Don't kill the man that killed one of my sons once, and crippled one of my very close friends once, and did a lot of very bad personal things to me. Please don't kill him."
Shadow or Batman, this is a must-read. But now, it's time for some powers and abilities. The Shadow's most well-known ability is his incredible stealth skills that make him essentially a living shadow. So much so that rumors began spreading that he can cloud men's minds. He was also given a mysterious gem that he wears as a ring on his hand that he uses to hypnotize people. The Shadow is also a world-class intellect, so he's incredibly clever and strategic. He also has complete control over his vocal cords and can throw his voice, which he often uses to produce a terrifying laugh that can paralyze opponents. With complete mastery of his vocal cords, he could also mimic anyone's voice. And on top of having a great intellect, he also has a photographic memory, is a master of sleight of hand and disguise. And not necessarily a skill, power, or ability, but one big factor to the Shadow's success in taking down crime is his vast network of agents that keep him constantly connected to all things going on in the criminal underworld. As for weapons or devices,
Why isn't he mentioning the telepathic abilities? This is the second YouTuber who has not mentioned that the Shadow does have slight telepathic abilities. That's so odd, because even in the original radio dramas, there was no mention of a ring. He had telepathic abilities. He had it in the last radio drama we listened to. So why not mention that? That's so bizarre.
the Shadow is most famously known for using his twin .45 caliber M1 911 semi-automatic pistols, which he wields with complete accuracy. He also likes to use a Tommy gun, but with that covered, let's get you guys some reading recommendations. As I mentioned earlier, The Shadow has a long history in comics, but our reading recommendations would be The Shadow Year One, the 1964 8-issue Shadow series, DC Comics 12-issue series titled The Shadow from 1973, Dynamite Entertainment's The Shadow Volume 1, The Fires of Creation, The Shadow Volume 2 Revolution, the 2017 Shadow series from Dynamite Entertainment, and last but certainly not least, The Shadow Batman series. That should be enough to get you all started. And that's going to bring today's episode.
Alright. And, I suppose that will be all for today. I cannot do these more than 2 of these dramas. It really does a number on me. But if you guys still want me to do the dramas, I'll do it. It's just I'm not going to do them for the full 2 hours or hour and a half to 2 hours. It depends on how good I feel after the dramas. But I got all the scripts here at Radio Players West, and they have all sorts of scripts, not just The Shadow. We got some Lone Ranger, let's see, Sam Spade, The Romance, Quiet Please, The Whistler, American Novels. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff here. So I'll put a link for this website down below. And if you guys see anything that you want me to read, I'll see what I can do about that. But with that being said, if you liked today's stream, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and I will see you all in the next one.